Is there any other way to describe Mimosa's brother but a complete and utter asshole? I mean, exactly when we saw what this character was going to be like a couple of weeks ago, we was like, oh boy, let's see what this guy's got up his sleeve. Let's see what kind of bullshit's gonna go for him. And like his entirety of his whole character is like, oh, you ugly creatures of the world, why must you be cursed? Why I must be beautiful? I'm like, oh, come on, lad, let's fucking hear like what you have to say, because you... Oh boy, I feel bad for Magna. I feel really fucking bad. It's like this poor guy, this chuckle fuck. Although this guy is actually good, like he's actually got some shit with him that's like actually decent, and not only that, he's teaching like not only Asta's friend, but alongside as well like one of like the other girls as well that is on his team. And I was like, okay, alright, let's see what your whole deal is then. Like Vermilion, I believe like his name was like Kirsch. Like honestly, like too much to say like for this chapter is especially like understanding him, and I at least appreciate it took like the spotlight of Asta for once. It was another one of those that I always appreciate in other series, which like a lot of shows and all that fall into the trap of like gotta have him in every time and all that, and no, the ones that like Asta was like, no, fuck out, you're not in the spotlight this week. So for the second round, we get to see a lot more of like, you know, like Magna and this guy Kirsch Vermilion, which that was their part of their team. And one of the things was like, you know, clearly like what we see with Mimosa is that she hates her brother to a fucking passion. It's just like, you are very like, you're a huge narcissist. Like no one actually likes you because you think you're so fucking upper class and like a piece of shit. And like Mimosa was like one of the first few characters that we met in the entire series where she wasn't like that, like towards Asta, towards any other people and all that. That were from like, you know, like a lower echelon or just a lower like, you know, royal family. And like this guy takes the cake literally, and motherfucker, he's like always saying this like to all the guys like, oh mate, like even as well like one of like Magna's team member who's like, you know, she's got a crude mouth and all that, but he's like, oh, do not use such vile words, maiden, and all like you have beautiful proportions, you should learn from me and start to improve. And it's like I wanted like both of these two and all that like just to actually like hurt him, but like whilst in the corner he's just doing his own thing. Like I kind of appreciate Magna and all that. I'm just like putting the hands over their head and just like breathe. Like it's like they haven't even started the match yet and they're already wanting to kill their own team member. And it's just like, oh, so they're in good works that right now. Like I had to do that, and I love that Mimosa was just like, oh, by the way, like in the next match we're gonna beat him to like a literal fucking pace because I can't stand him. And I was like, well, that's how your family members deal with everything. And it's like, I believe like he's not even part of the same like group as her, like not in like she made it to the Golden Dawn, but this guy as well, like he made it to like I think it was the Peacocks or something, where like it's like, if I forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure like the Coral Peacocks are not that high on the group list and all that. And like obviously like, you know, every one of the Knights and all that might have some actual decent people along the group, but like that's kind of interesting that he couldn't even make it to like the Golden Dawn whatsoever, but like Mimosa was the one. So I thought that was a little bit interesting, although like he tries to act like he's like a big shit. But I feel like especially as well, like although you have a few hidden contenders in some of these Knights groups and all that, it clearly I think shows as well that like the fact that she got picked up to the Golden Dawn as well was a lot more of that, and showing like how useful she is. And this guy, he's powerful, but I think as well like he can be heavily countered after a while once you figure out his ability. And not much is really can be said about their opponents. It's the same thing what Asta's like group had in the first round, a bunch of fucking no names for the most part. But throughout the entirety of this battle, is like Magna's like literally beating the dog shit out of like some jackals, which I kind of fought with like pretty much nearly his bare hands. Just him and his bat just going swinging it down, and the guy is actually helping him. Vermilion is like, oh, by the way, you know, like, you know, you can use that for like short and long range tactics. You should like read your opponent more. And he's like, and I was like, oh, all right, then actually thanks for helping me. Same thing can be said as well with Soul as well. Like her whole thing is like she's making this giant earth monster, and he's like, it's like, oh, you just got caught immediately into like a bog of shit. And not only saying, oh, you just look so simple-minded right now, and it's like, you know, you could just you can make multiple little golems and to confuse the enemies like that, and then you'll be able to like bury them and make an ambush. Like, you got like a bunch of creative mana, so why do you do that? And like her whole thing, oh, oh, that actually helps as well. And it's like, I was like, it's like, both these are like, oh, you actually taught us how to do something really good with our magic. Like, he actually kind of gives a shit in the end, and like, it was like, oh, we let the crystal undefended, and then we find what his ability is, which is no other way to describe it, is that he has Byakuya's Bankai from Bleach, where it's cherry blossom magic, where he has an exceedingly huge range with this thing, where he can just cover up pretty much the entirety of like a forest with this thing, and it's like the whole field is covered in these cherry blossoms, and he's using this to defend it. And not only that, he used it in such a way where like, and this is the most of like the whole reason on that, it's like I don't think he's not very that much of a skilled fighter, but just the fact that he can use his magic so creatively is probably what got him far. I believe he's like an actual upper knight for the most part, even being part of the core peacocks for the most part. And like, his whole thing is that he combined it, made a barrier alongside Sol and like Magna, and was able to make sure that they could get in with their magic. And it was like, yeah, they actually used it in a very clever way. That's why I kind of like that. And it's like, let's go in there and attack their magic while he was like working on defense. And like, just the ending of the chapter was like all three of them fucking posing, looking like they're like, honestly, the guy looked like he was now doing a Death Note pose, like that I rule the world, and the others like looked like they're getting ready for some JoJo poses for the most part. I was like, and they're just like, oh shit, we went with his rhythm. We actually, shit, this guy actually, we need to be careful, we might actually become this guy for the most part. Overall, like, it was like not a bad chapter for the most part. I kind of would appreciate it a little bit more. I think, like, unfortunately, like, for the past couple of weeks, as I mentioned, I think, like, even though it doesn't help as well that, you know, obviously, like, Tabata has been pretty ill for a while, like, I can say as well and all that, like, he actually, like, his pacing issue has been one of the things on that, although I have been, like, really excited and all that as well for the anime coming out and all that, and I know the anime is going to probably maybe alleviate that, but even so, as a weekly run and all that, I feel like you could as well speed things up and all that. I mean, to focus on, like, just one group of people while we've got other people as well to see in there, but I think it's showing all that maybe we might have some other characters, like I could feel like this guy, this Vermilion, like in the Royal Knights or something, could actually be a joke pick or something, like, maybe we might see potential. I know they're also trying to push like Sol a lot as well, like that. She's obviously like, you know, a little bit more as well, like it's like her mistress as well, that's a lot more powerful with the rose whip and everything. But like as well, yeah, some of them are showing their stuff and all that. I just kind of wish and all that it wasn't just these characters. I kind of like, I don't think we needed a whole chapter dedicated to like Mimosa's like brother, for fuck's sake. But other than that, I still think it was an enjoyable chapter, and it was still funny, and it was like still a nice little bit of action about, and the characters were learning something for the most part. And I always do appreciate as well, like, you know, Clover's got a very huge cast. It's about time maybe we focused on some of them as well, like that. But maybe as well, we could have focused on a few other characters as well at the same time and all that. Maybe a Luck or some of the other few and all that. But we'll have to wait and see and all that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.